Welcome back to another episode of me. I'm so excited to be here today. As always, I am your host, Kendra, and I share on the Summer of Me podcast about how to resuscitate your identity if you feel lost in your own life or like you don't know what to do or how to operate as you anymore. You are the caretaker and the provider and the orchestrator for everybody else in your life, and you need a resuscitation of your identity because you maybe don't know who you are anymore. So today we are talking about main character energy, which just fits perfectly. If you have bought the Summer of Me blueprint, there is a whole chapter called main character energy, but today we're going to dive into it a little bit because it's something I'm passionate about, not in the weird TikTok, like I'm the main character, here's my cute outfit and my iced latte, but in a way that really screams like I matter in my life too. I am not here to be the producer of everybody else's life, to orchestrate this plan and to get to people to this sports game and to make sure that dinner's on the table for my spouse and to, create these beautiful experiences for everybody else. And then you get to the end of it and you're like, what about me? I wanted to do this. I wanted to experience this. I wanted to have this moment. And none of it happens because nobody's looking out for you. And I think a lot of times our role and job as women feels like we are the caretakers, we are the nurturers, we are the orchestrators of this beautiful life. We make this beautiful, magical lives for people. And before we know it, like we are just kind of on the side stage. Like we are very much an integral part of it because it wouldn't happen without us in a lot of ways. However, we don't get to experience it in real time and we don't get to have the moments that make us feel seen. We don't get to be fed in the ways that we're feeding other people often. And I don't mean that literally. Well, I do kind of mean that literally, but also figuratively speaking. So today we're going to hit reset. I'm going to give you guys a quick real life way to step back into your life and to be part of what's going on, to matter to have a voice and to feel confident and comfortable expressing your needs just as much as you feel confident and comfortable meeting the needs of other people in your life. This is going to feel uncomfortable for people. It's going to feel out of the norm of what we do on a day in and day out life. And let me preface this by saying, if you are somebody who's maybe new to motherhood or you haven't even been in that role yet and you are in a new relationship, this might not feel like it applies because a lot of times we get into these experiences and we're like, this is it. I hear people all the time, motherhood is my calling. I love this. I absolutely have always felt this way, right? Like, yes, motherhood is my calling. However, I don't get to be a hands-on mother for more than maybe 15 years. My oldest is 13. I don't see Baylor a lot of the days. Like he goes with friends after school. He's at football practice. He's doing homework in his room. He's taking a bike ride down the street to go get ice cream. Like my hands-on part of Baylor's childhood is very like come and go at this point. And so I think like, yes, while motherhood is my calling, it's not my only identity. And so if you're new at this, you might feel like, wait a second, like I don't feel any of these ways. But the goal here and the goal in my really like my entire platform and my mission is to not lose their entire identity in serving and loving other people. I think it's absolutely can be an integral and part of your identity, but you are going to face a point of reckoning or a day of like a day or a moment where you are like, holy shit, nobody's doing anything for me. I do everything for everybody else, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your friends, your family members, your aging parents, whether it's your children. You have to be making sure that things are also happening for you. And while, yes, it would feel so amazing if somebody was like, hey, babe, I got you today. Make sure you get a coffee. I booked you a massage. That is not a reality of most people's lives. If you have that as your reality, unbelievable, happy for you, amazing. But I think it's really important as women and just people in general that we advocate for ourselves. We step up and we choose our own path essentially when it comes to happiness. And sometimes it's like you can't sit around and wait for somebody to be the person who's orchestrating your happiness when at the end of the day, you have the power to orchestrate that. You sometimes have to have the balls to say, I want this. I actually want to go to this restaurant. Even if 3 people in your family don't want to go, you want to go. And that's okay. It's not every time, but like you get to matter too. And I feel like I went years without advocating for myself. I mean, years. Hey, I don't want to go to my in-laws for dinner tonight. Hey, I actually need a night off. So I'm going to take the night to myself. I'm going to go grab dinner and I'm going to go to do a Target run. Thank you so much for letting me do this. And this is what I need to do. Not like, man, I would fucking love a break, but God, I cannot expect anybody to hold down the fort like I can. And I feel bad asking because he worked a day at work and blah, blah. We're done feeling bad for asking for our needs to be met. The reason you feel extra needy is because you are either in a relationship or a dynamic or a household where your needs are not being met. Nobody feels needy when their needs are being met, right? That just doesn't exist. And so when you can express your needs, communicate them, and also meet your own needs, there is something that happens where you're like, okay, I matter too. And everybody flows in this homeostatic kind of state where things just feel right. I have an identity. I am a mother. I am a wife. And I am a me. I am a person. I'm a whole person, whole ass person who has needs, who has wants, who gets to do things outside of the children or outside of the marriage or outside of the household. So often women, we feel like we need to live in this massively sacrificial state. And we forget that we're the freaking main character. We are the womb of this entire family. Like, I am going to take my power back. I'm going to take my energy back. And while, yes, I'm going to give it to my husband, I'm going to give it to my kids, I'm going to give it to my immediate family or my friends, I'm also going to give it to myself. So we're talking about main character energy today in that way. And I'm going to give you guys hopefully some tools and some ideas as a way to kind of get back to that place. I think that a lot of why we don't prioritize ourselves or see ourselves as the main character is because it's not practical. And when we don't establish this practicality from day one, every passing moment feels less practical, right? If you don't establish from the get-go, hey, let's just take it from the frame of like, I'm a mom. I had this baby and I love this baby, but I need a mom's night out, or I just need a few hours on my own. The baby can take a bottle or whatever. I remember when I had babies, my kids never took a bottle, and I wore it as a badge of honor. Like, I'm so needed. I'm so important. Nobody else could do what I do. And I used it as an excuse a lot of times because I was so uncomfortable leaving. I was so uncomfortable having needs. I was so uncomfortable being me. I had no identity outside of my children. And so I use this like, oh, I have to be home to nurse the baby, or I can't leave for more than an hour or two or whatever. And it only ended up, biting me in the ass in the long run because my partner had no idea how to parent our children. My children had no idea how to exist with him without me. And there was just this like vicious cycle sort of. And so I think that we have to stop assuming that everything that we do has to be in honor and in service of the family and practical. Your kids are really fucking impractical. Your husband is probably really fucking impractical. In my personal experience, things that my husband wanted to do were really impractical, but I was going to be the supporting role. I was going to be the wind beneath his wings. And I can sure as shit guarantee you there was no wind beneath my wings. I was flapping the fuck out of my wings and nothing was happening. So I stopped flapping, okay? Are we following? Studies in psychology show that self-concept, how you see yourself, whether you're main character, whether you're supporting role, whatever it might be, directly shapes behavior. When women view themselves primarily as caretakers, their goals and their choices shrink to fit that role. Wrap your head around that for a second. If you primarily see yourself not as a hot mom, not as a badass, not as an entrepreneur, not as somebody who can shapeshift, experiences, not as somebody who is dynamic and has all of these things to offer, but you see yourself simply as a caretaker, your goals, your ambitions, your choices will shrink to fit that role. We are not meant to live small. You guys know I talk all the time about how women need more. We should want more than just being a mom, more than just being an entrepreneur, more than just being a wife. We are one like big dynamic ball of magical energy. And when we start to shrink ourselves to be like, I'm just, people say, I don't need to be anything else. Like I am a mom. Okay, that's great, but that shit's not gonna last forever. And if it does, you're gonna be a fucking helicopter mom or a monster-in-law. Like, breaking news, you cannot do this forever. It doesn't work that way, okay? So you have to start doing something else from the get-go. It's no different than, I look at it like when you're building a business, you put systems in place. I have a team at Arbonne, for example, that I build this business, and my team is not massive by any means. There are teams that are so much bigger than mine. I put systems in place so that I am equipped to scale, because I trust that at some point my team is going to continue to grow. And as it grows, I want to have systems in place that can scale with it. Think about this in the same way as motherhood. If you are jumping into motherhood and you're like, this is it, this is all I have forever, you are not going to put systems in place and protections and make sure that you are doing more than just being those children's mother. And you're going to scale at some point. Your life is going to scale. Your kids are going to literally scale. They're going to fucking grow up and get out of your house. And then you have no systems in place. You have no coping mechanisms. You have no hobbies. You have no friends, because your entire identity is wrapped in being a mother. And this is where you see people are like midlife crisis, or again, monster-in-law. Like, I want to be hyper involved in my kids' lives. Fuck that. Listen, I am a personal victim of that situation. It's not pretty. I can pretty much assure you that it is a nightmare. Okay. And so we want to put these systems in place. A Gallup poll found that 46% of women say they are thriving in their daily lives versus 55% of men, tied to prioritizing others over themselves. we could enjoy our lives more if we just prioritize ourselves a little bit more. I'm not saying you always have to put yourself over your family. That's not realistic. But I'm saying sometimes you do. I skip a baseball game here or there because I have a dinner planned with my friends, or I just don't fucking want to sit on the side of a baseball field for 3 hours on a night where I don't have the children. That's okay. Baylor is not going to wither away. In fact, it gives him a great lesson of, my life does not revolve around you. You're not the center of my world. You are a massive part of my world. I think you are the most incredible human that has ever been created by yours truly. However, I am not here to serve and do everything for you. I have a life too. And I tell my kids this all the time. I matter too. This is my first time living. I have a life too. I am just as much of a priority as you are. Okay, let's make that really clear from the get-go, because what I want is my children to model that. I want my daughters, I have 4 daughters, when they have families, I want them to matter too. I don't want them to just simply dissipate because they have children and they can't do anything else. What does main character energy actually mean? Like I said earlier, it's not the TikTok, like these girls. I'm like, dude, get off your fucking high horse. They're like, I am the main character. No man, no this. Like, that's not realistic either. There is a pendulum swing, right? Where it's like, I don't matter. Nobody cares about me. I'm a victim, to like, I'm the main character. I'm the baddest bitch. There's some of these girls on reality TV that have egos that are fucking larger than planet Earth. And it is obnoxious. That is not main character energy in my mind either. What it means is that it's agency, the ability to see yourself as someone who has needs, wants, and dreams that matter. Agency. We are simply not here to be trapped by everything and everyone else. You have agency. You matter inherently. I've said this 1,000 times on this podcast. Just because you were born just like everybody else, and you are a woman, and you have feelings, and you have a heart, and you have dreams, and you have a mission and a calling, those things matter inherently. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to show people that you're valuable or that you're worth it. Like, those things just inherently matter, and you have the agency to prioritize them and to choose them. And ideally, you have a partner that has the mindset that I want to prioritize my wife and see her as the whole person that she is, not just the mom that created these children or the breeding material, as somebody used to say in my life. Okay. Some practical reset tools that you can do to start choosing yourself. You guys know I talk a lot about the Summer of Me. I've made this entire blueprint because I really believe in the mission of it. My experience was transformational in every single way. And so I really tried to take my personal experience doing the Summer of Me, choosing to have this, autonomy in my life. And I tried to package it into this experience. So number one, and this stuff is going to sound like really elementary, but I want to assure you, it's reprogramming your brain that, like, I matter too. I get to choose me too. I'm a person too. My sister actually just started doing this, and I thought it was, I literally called her. I was like, I'm so excited you're doing this. Put on something that feels like you, not something that you grabbed because it was convenient. My sister started doing this thing on TikTok where she's doing 30 days of outfits. She's a stay-at-home mom. She has a hobby farm at her house. She's always out in the yard doing stuff. So she really has no reason practically to get out and put on a cute outfit, but she has the most amazing vintage closet. She has incredible style, all these clothes. And she's like, it makes me feel confident, and it just gives me something creative to do. And it makes me feel like me when I can put on a cute outfit and style something and pull something out of my closet. And so wearing something that feels like you, not something that you grabbed because it was convenient or practical, right? Studies show that enclothed cognition, what you wear basically, impacts how you feel and perform. Even small outfit choices can affect confidence. This is so true. If I'm wearing grubby ass sweats and an oversized sweatshirt, which I actually happen to love that combo, but you know what I mean? If I'm wearing shit clothes and my day, typically I feel gross. I feel not presentable. I don't feel as productive. There's even studies that show when you wear your shoes in your house, if you have ADHD, which clearly I do, you are more productive because your brain is don't sit down, don't relax, don't, whatever. But anyways, studies show that this will impact how you feel, how you operate, how you present yourself. And there's a phrase that says, look good, feel good, play good. And it's absolutely true. And I know, especially if you're in the trenches of motherhood where your kids are a little bit younger, sometimes it's I'm going to just get dirty, or this is not comfortable. I'm crawling around the floor, or I don't have anything that fits my post-baby body or whatever. Find something. Take 2 hours and tell your husband, I need to go shopping and find a cute outfit, or I need to go grab a few things that make me feel like me. Just find something that's not based on comfortability or practicality. Makes you feel like you. Number 2 is the solo scene. This is really uncomfortable. This was something I really had to learn after I got divorced. I was like, holy shit, I don't think I have eaten a meal alone in 10 years. It was really depressing, honestly, at first for me, and very, very strange feeling, but it doesn't have to necessarily be a meal. Take yourself on a main character solo date. Like you're going on a summer of me date, okay? Dinner, a bar, do a yoga class, any workout class. Just do something alone where you feel like I am only in charge of me. The only thing that I need to be authoritative over right now is my feelings, my experience, my emotions, my enjoyment. I want you to do this experience and then I want you to think about it. Like, I want you to actually be like, how did that make me feel? Reflect on it, which I know sounds so stupid, but like, if we're not doing these experiences and then reflecting back on them, we're not like grasping the totality of it and learning from it. Remember, I didn't really even grow up like going, or not grow up, but like even in my young adult life, I was engaged at 20, married at 21. Like I was with my ex-husband since I was 18. So I didn't really have this life where I was like going to bars or anything like that. But I remember we got a divorced or I think we were separated. And so it was like the first time that I'd really like done overnights without my kids. And it was so strange. And I remember being like, okay, we were doing nesting and I was in this apartment and I was like, I don't know how to eat by myself. I was so like, I've always thought it's really depressing for people to eat like alone at home by themselves. Like the thought of my grandfather eating dinner by himself at home makes me want to throw up. But I was like, I have to start somewhere. And so I took myself to this restaurant. It's called Barcelona. And I brought a book and I had my phone and I sat there. I ordered a glass of red wine and I ordered the charcuterie board. I was like nervous. I was like, I don't know how to do this. I left there feeling so empowered and like mysterious and sexy and just like, I can do anything. Like if I can eat this meal alone and feel like I didn't feel confident in that moment. I was like looking around, like, what are people thinking? Are they judging me? Do they think I got stood up on a date? Like what, you have all of these thoughts. The more you do it, now I love going to eat by myself. I think it's like the most fucking relaxing thing. I don't have to talk to people. I can choose whatever I want. I can take my own time. Like I can fucking scroll on my phone. I can do whatever the hell I want. It's incredible. But you have to start somewhere. And so I really encourage you, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be going to a restaurant. It could be going to the mall by yourself. It could be, like I said, going to a yoga class by yourself or just doing something alone to really be like, wow, this is what it feels like to just be me. And in some ways, there's like this hidden blessing in getting a divorce where you learn to be you again because you have no choice. I have 5 days on end every other weekend without my children. I'm like, how do I don't have anybody to cook food for. I don't have anybody to clean up after. Everything in my house stays clean. And when you've gone from this dramatic like difference from taking care of all these people and then all of a sudden it's like quiet, at first it feels really depressing, but just like anything, the brain has muscle memory and the more you do it, the more comfortable you get treating yourself and loving yourself. And sometimes I'm like, I'll have friends be like, do you want to go out to dinner? I'm like, no, I want to stay home by myself and like do whatever the hell I want. It feels amazing. But initially I filled my time with all sorts of things because I could not bear the thought of just being alone. And last but not least, I want you to literally write down, if I was the main character in this season of my show, what would I do? What would I do this week? And then I want you to do one of those things. There's a quote that says, if I was watching a movie about your life, what would the audience be cheering you on to do? What would the audience be wanting you to do? And I think about this a lot in dating. And every single relationship, I'd be like, the audience would be like, leave him, bitch, leave him. You deserve. But sorry if I broke your eardrums. But genuinely, I think about this all the time because it's like, man, it's so easy when you're in your own life to think about like, what do I need to get done? I need to feed the kids. I need to make sure that, Winnie makes soccer practice and I need to make sure that the theater pickup is on time and all these things. But it's like, if I was the main character in my life, in a movie this week, what would I do? Like, what would my audience want to see? What would I want to experience for myself? Like, what would I want that whole entire narrative to look like? And I think when you can get a bird's eye view on your life and realize, A, it's so much bigger than we realize. And the picture is so much greater, right? It's not just this week or it's not just this season of our lives or it's not just this years of parenting. It's so much greater. How can we make sure that we remain the main character of our life so that we do not get forgotten? We don't become the producer or the side stage or the, costume designer, whatever. Like you've got to be all of it for yourself too. Okay. Women lose themselves in jobs, in relationships, in have to's and motherhood and like all these moments in our lives where we just feel like it's for everybody else. And main character energy is just reclaiming your identity. And so I don't want you to think it's like you have to be like, I'm a MILF. Like, no, that's not main character energy. It's just genuinely being like, hey, I am the mom of these children. I am Rosemary's granddaughter. I'm the mom of these children. I am the wife of this man. I am the, dog mom of these dogs. I am the marketing manager at this company. I'm all of these things, but like my identity is like I am an artist. I am a creative. I love to move my body. Like who are you when you're not achieving something, when you're not serving somebody? And so it's really just reclaiming your identity. And the Summer of Me as a whole, the blueprint, the podcast, everything is really just like a guide for resuscitating your identity and kind of coming back to self and it's hard for me to say like who you were before you got married or before you had kids because I wasn't anybody. Like I lost my identity years before that. Like I genuinely feel like I am more myself now than I ever have been. I didn't get tattoos until after I got divorced. That's like a part of my identity. It makes me feel like who I am. It makes me feel edgy. It makes me feel creative. It makes me feel different. It makes me feel like I stand out a little bit. Like that's my identity. That's who I see myself as. And that's who I want to be perceived as well. And I didn't know anything about that person. I had so many mental blocks. I had so many, assumptions and things that I felt like I had to do and prove and who would be that I didn't actually get to come into my own identity until I did the Summer of Me. And it was years in the making where I was like, oh my God, I've known deep down in my heart, like that I wanted to be more, I wanted to be something different. And like now I feel like I genuinely get to live in that true identity every single day because I have prioritized myself as the main character. My kids know that. Everybody in my life knows that like I come first to me. Like I matter. Yes, my children are obviously a massive priority, but like I'm not going to lose myself in motherhood anymore. Like I'm going to show up as the truest version of myself as your mom. I really want to encourage you guys to stop dimming your light, to stop shrinking and feeling like you can't be who you are, and to really choose like one main character action just this week and just do it and see how you feel. Reflect on it and really prioritize what would the main character of my story, me, want to be doing right now? What should I be doing? What could I be doing? What would feel life-giving to me in this moment? If you do something for you this week, I would love for you to share it on Instagram, tag me or tag the Summer of Me on Instagram and let me know, like, what did you do for yourself? I think that it's a really powerful movement that we can share with people in our lives. And then we can encourage other women in our lives to do. If you want to share this podcast episode, you can do that. Anything to kind of encourage women to resuscitate their identity, to realize and assert that they matter too, and to really step back into your own spotlight. It's a powerful thing. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of The Summer of Me. We'll see you next week.